What's up, everybody? This is Janky J with the For Real Takes. Tonight we have
This pick.
And you already know you got Harv from the world famous Harv's Movie Hut.
Okay, nobody cares. We also have with us tonight as our special guest. This is going to be Nerdy HillBilly from one of our friends from TikTok. How you doing tonight, Nerdy?
Hi everyone, Nerdy HillBilly here, and I'm doing freaking phenomenal.
Awesome, man. Well, we are going to do like a whole horror themed episode because Nerdy Hillbilly here is the horror guy. He's our local horror guy. So we're going to start off with a movie that we all watched this week. So, Nerdy, what did you watch this week?
So this week I watched Scary Movie, a horror comedy that brought back a lot of nostalgia, laughs, and some new age horror themes that needed to be made fun of.
Nice. How aggressive was the like offensiveness? Was it like on a scale of 1 to 10?
It didn't matter what side you were on, they were crossing that line. They were talking about identity. They were talking about left and right. They were talking about all sorts of things that would typically offend someone.
Nice. Okay.
And it would offend both sides. So it was more neutral on the offensiveness.
It was
Okay,
equal
kinda like how, like,
opportunity
South Park.
offending.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, it's like kind of how South Park does it, where it's like nobody's safe kind of vibes.
Exactly.
Okay.
So Nerdy, did you watch this in theaters?
I did watch this in theaters. I watched it opening night, and I even was able to snag some merch, even though it was just one thing. It sucked because they came out with AMC, Regal, and all those companies and they're like, "Well, we're not selling that Scary Movie Bond popcorn bucket." And I'm like, "Well, okay." And then come to find out, they're like, "Well, that's not real, sir. That's not real. That was just something they did for marketing." And I'm like, "Oh, so it's a parody of a parody." They're not just parodying the movies, they're parodying people in real life that collect popcorn buckets.
Yeah.
And then of course they did another commercial like the night before the premiere. They were like, "Well, okay, we got another popcorn bucket and it's a giant phone and it screams out "What's that?" and all that stuff." But then come to find out they actually did make one thing for sale, and it was a tiny tumbler with Ghostface's high face on it.
Okay.
I'm totally stoned, man.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, and yeah, it was kind of cool how the marketing worked out. It also intrigued me more than ever with the approach they went with each new age horror movie. So like Long Legs, The Substance, and Terrifier, all of these movies being mocked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say I wanted to finish because you know how I asked if you saw it in theater. With it being so offensive, I just kind of wanted to hear like how the audience was for it for you.
That's what I was gonna ask too.
There we go.
Majority of the audience, from what I witnessed, were my age and older, so it came across more of a everyone laughed kind of deal. Like they were ready to laugh again, as Marlon Wayans said in a few interviews. He's like, "I think people are just ready to laugh again." And maybe laugh at things that they're not allowed to laugh at nowadays. But now that we've had movies like The Naked Gun, and then now we have Scary Movie, we're allowed to laugh at those jokes again.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, dude. I'm glad it was a good time. I know a lot of people were kind of worried that it was going to miss or something, but it sounds like it was fun. So
And I guess I will say this: it's not the best in the franchise. It's the third best in the franchise. But I feel like the reason why my ranking is the way it is is because it's the Wayans formula of how they do things.
Right.
Because obviously when 3, 4, and 5 were made, the Wayans brothers had little to nothing to do with the franchise at that point. So pretty much when you watch Scary Movie 6, it does make fun of the time frames of like when they weren't there, but it also touches base on like other movies where, oh, this legacy character was supposed to be here. Okay, I guess we'll make fun of those that that situation as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Scary movie then, man. Good shit. All right, what about you, Disc? What'd you watch?
Well, I actually only watched one movie this week, and it was a horror movie, ironically, so that's perfect.
There you go.
Fucking failure.
And
One movie.
it ties into kind of what I think my topic and Janky's topic will kind of go into. But with that being said, I watched Exit 8. I don't know if any of you guys have gave it a watch or heard of it, but it's like I think it's like a lower budget, like it's a movie based on a video game, like a horror short game. And basically, the premise of the movie or the game, they're the same, is pretty much there's 8 levels, and every time you see like an anomaly or like a mistake or something off, you have to go backwards, like go back to the last round. But then it keeps you going up to the next level. But if you don't like notice it, like bad stuff will happen, and then it'll put
Mm.
you back at 0. So like
Okay.
your goal is to get to level 8, and they did like some really cool things that you don't see in the game, and it just had like more of a story to it and like an understanding of who each thing was. And yeah, it was honestly pretty good for being like an hour and a half of just a guy walking in circles. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, they had some cool, like there was, I don't even think there was really much jump scares, if anything, one, and the rest was all like just like suspense build up, which I thought was really good how they used it. So yeah,
Right.
that was all I watched.
And this was a new movie?
Yeah, 2025, I think it came out.
Hmm.
Okay. I'll have
I'll
to
have
look
to
up
give
the
that.
game.
It's
Yeah.
I think it's Japanese. Like a Japanese.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So foreign and a video game based horror movie. That's not too bad because lately I think we've been getting, you know, amongst the same themes, video games that are into horror movies,
Yeah.
like Until Dawn and uh technically I guess Iron Lung was also a video game. Markiplier played, and that was made into a horror movie. And honestly, those kinds of movies never landed for me. But what you're talking about sounds a little more pushing the envelope a little bit differently. And plus, it being a Japanese horror movie, it
Yeah.
could hit different because I love foreign horror movies because they're not afraid to go there where
Yeah.
some here in the States are afraid to, and they just play it safe, like Until Dawn.
Well, and I
Yeah.
will say this. The reason why I think I could recommend anyone to watch this is because yes, it's foreign and you're gonna have subtitles, but honestly, the stuff that you see throughout the movie doesn't change all that much to where you barely even have to read it, honestly. Like you kind of see it already before, like you don't even have to really get into like fully diving into it because there's not a lot of dialogue. It's just a lot of visual, and then they say what you're kind of looking at.
Mm.
So it's really not a hard like foreign film to watch or read or whatever.
I was gonna say subtitles aren't really a big no-no for me because I don't
Mm-hmm.
mind subtitles. I
Mm.
actually it helps you understand the story more and because obviously I don't speak Japanese or any other language for that matter. Maybe a little Spanish, but thanks to Dora the Explorer. But you know, it's just one of those things, like I'm open to anything as long as there's a little bit of context to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Exit 8 was the name of it?
Yeah, Exit 8.
All right. Check it out. All right, Harv. What did you watch this week, buddy?
So mine wasn't a horror movie, but you know me, I always gotta I stay true to the streets. So I actually watched I watched American Gangster with Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe. I've
That's a
never seen it.
classic. I love it.
I've always wanted to watch it. It's always been on my watch list. So finally, I just pulled the trigger and finally watched it. Great film. Kind of a it's a somewhat of a like a story of how Frank Lucas. It's a based on a true story of his life and how his rise from just being a driver for Bumpy Johnson to becoming one of the kingpins in New York. So, great film. Definitely recommend it for anybody who hasn't watched it.
Yeah, Denzel fucking.
It's been out for a
knocked it
while.
out
It's
of the
pretty
park.
famous. So, anything I say, it's already been said about that movie. And Denzel Washington, come on, you can never miss with him.
Well, Harv, I really love that about what I love that for you because there's a lot of movies that I would like to see for the first time again, like have that excitement of seeing a movie again and again for the first time. And then
Hmm.
of course, I don't mind watching movies I've already seen again right now, but at the same time to see it for the first time and have it mind-blowing.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed how they put it together. The way the whole story was laid out, from his rise to his fall to the way he basically informed on everybody to get less time, and eventually got out of prison. And he got out in 91. I thought he had stayed locked up for the rest of his life because of the amount of stuff he was doing, and I didn't even know that he had gotten out in 91. He only did 15 years compared to what he could have if he would have kept his mouth shut. So,
Yeah,
you know,
well, he got
a really
released the
great
year I
story.
was born.
Wow. Now I feel old.
Yeah, I remember it being kind of a slow burn, but then there's kind of a pivot in the movie where it just kind of like, because the first time I watched it, I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm gonna finish. It's a little bit a longer movie too, if I remember correctly.
It's 2.5 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I remember it was kind of like a slog for the first like 30 minutes or so, but then just out of nowhere, it just kind of grabs you and it doesn't let you go till the end of the movie. Yeah, that was a
Right.
great one.
And I feel like with runtimes like 2.5, it's the normal now.
Yeah,
It like it depends on what the story is and if it's keeping me engaged. Um, I like movies that keep me engaged. If you can keep me engaged, I'll sit there for 3 hours without a piss break.
yeah. Well, speaking of run times, no piss breaks, and not horror movies, even though this is supposed to be the horror episode, we'll get into the horror. Trust me. I also watched a non-horror movie this weekend. I finally got around to watching Avatar: Fire and Ash, and so this is the thing, Matt. I know like Harv rolling his eyes because he's uneducated about how amazing these movies are. But I know this is like a weird one for me. Dude, I'll suck his blue dick till the end of time, bro. But no, man, I have a weak spot for these movies. The first one when it came out, I went to the movie theaters and saw it in 3D, and then like 2 days later, I was like, I'm gonna go see it again. But then I got baked, and I went and I saw it again, stoned, and I was like, boy, it's even better. So then I went back, and then like another day went by, and I was like, well, maybe it wasn't that good. Let me try one more time sober. And then I saw it again sober, and I was like, nope, it's awesome. So I saw it 3 times, and then the second one, came out like 2 years ago or something like that, and it blew me away with the visuals. And then this one, the villain, well, one of the villains, the Varang is her name. She's like the new Navi or whatever that you meet. She's super hot for being an animated blue monkey figure, but I you know who I found out who plays her? Charlie Chaplin's granddaughter, Una Chaplin.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't know. I was like,
some cinema royalty there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well,
But yeah.
I'm glad those movies hit for you. With Avatar, First one was great. Second one, eh, uh, it didn't keep me as captivated. But that third one, um, I feel like it had more to offer than the second one. The first one, you hit gold, but with the first one, and I know I'm not the only film guy out there that thinks this. Uh, isn't it just a ripoff of Ferngully, The Last Rainforest?
Yeah, and Pocahontas in a way too.
Yeah, so and I mean I don't mind inspiration, but at the same time, I think James Camwin and his Titanic and the Ship of Dreams needs to.
Mm. Yeah, for me, like, and I've always known that, like the story was definitely like done more than once, but it was more of just the visuals for me. Like, I've always been a fan of animation and just seeing like what they're able to pull off now, and you don't get that in a lot of stuff these days. You don't get that high caliber animation and CGI. You look at like some of the big superhero movies that have come out, and it's like, what the fuck are they doing over there? Like, you
And
got
it's
these huge,
overused.
like huge IPs you're just wasting on shitty CGI and stuff. But what they're doing with the Avatar movies, man, it's just visually insane. Like the stuff that they're able to pull off. So that's the big one for me. I know the story's kind of meh. And the third one, for anybody watching, if you didn't care about the second one because like if you thought it was boring or something, what I would say is that the third one kind of in a way rehashes a lot of themes and elements from the second one, but it improves upon them, I think.
And that's what I thought too, is like it improved on it. Where the first one, I feel like you can't hit lightning in the same spot with that one.
Right.
Like you can't make Avatar 1 over and over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be pointless, basically. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, that's the movie I watched. Now we're going to start getting into some spooky, scary stuff. But we're going to start it off. We're going to start off by asking, who is Nerdy HillBilly? Nobody knows. We need to find out who Nerdy HillBilly actually is, where we can find him, what he does, his whole thing. Where the fuck is he? Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I don't know where he is. He owes me money. But
Me too.
so just kidding. Everyone, I'm Nerdy Hillbilly, and I started my adventure out on YouTube as just a small time content creator. Originally, it was just for a school project back in 2011. I was majoring in taxidermy, and then I was also making a video just for English class at the time. They were like, well, write about a specific subject that you are passionate or not passionate about, and then go from there and then make a video about it. So I made a video about pet taxidermy being wrong and how people shouldn't just stuff their loved ones and causing agony and stuff like that, which also probably caused me to get more involved with horror because what doesn't, you know, what's there not to love about flesh and, sharp, pointy objects and stuff like that and animals, Um, but moving on from that, 2015 is when I started peeking a little more about, ooh, maybe I should make content and stuff because I have a YouTube channel that is just sitting there idly with 2 subscribers on it, one of them being my mom. So I was like, okay, um, maybe I should be a political commentator. And then I'm like, nah, that causes division. I tried it for 1 week and I hated it. And I I was like, what's something that brings people together? And also where you can have agreements, disagreements, and casual discussions and sometimes off the wall shit like we do. Um, and I was like, movies, horror movies, okay. Because at the time I was just watching horror movies more than any other genre. Like nothing against comedies, rom-coms, or action or anything, but when it came to horror movies, it was a comfort place because I was going through the horrific times of college, and the real life stuff afterwards, because around 2015, um, it was when people were being ugly to each other, and it was an ugly world, and some of that stuff has still sprang forward to now, but when it came to talking about movies, it everyone seemed to be happy to talk about movies.
Mm-hmm.
And like, whether they were shitty movies, good movies, or in between movies. So, and a lot of my friends um in 2015 were like, "Oh, horror movies. Yeah, let's talk about horror movies." So, that's all I knew really. And then a little bit forward in 2015, I founded a YouTube channel by the Merkins, and I collab with them once in a while. I play Leatherface for them from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre to 1974 to be exact. And yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
because I know that genre or that movie in and out, and it just is what molded me into what I am. And not that I have anything against other movies, horror movies, especially Texas Chainsaw Massacre, hit for me more.
Yeah.
And yeah, fast forward to now, I got 13,400 on YouTube. I have 16,900 on TikTok, and consistently 1,000 plus on Instagram. Just trying to spread the word about movies, especially those low budget, off the wall ones that people kind of overlook when they go through Tubi and they're like, "Oh, I wonder if there's anything good on here."
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Well, you just passed 5 right there."
Yeah. Well, Harv is the other Tubi hound here in the group. He's the one digging through the Tubi gutters.
Big wigs at Tubi, get at Harv's Movie Hut.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And include Nerdy HillBilly.
Yeah. I
You
just
don't. You have no
recently
idea how
started-
much shit these two give me just for liking Tubi as much as I do.
Well,
They're,
I was gonna say
these two are
I've
very
been-
movie snobs, especially
I
Disc.
am not a movie
Ooh.
snob.
They're very much movie snobs.
I just said I liked Avatar.
If it's not some big name director or high value production, they don't want to see it.
What?
What the fuck? He's just making shit up. He's just making shit up. Yeah, under the imaginary bus, the fucking magic
The
bus.
Magic School Bus.
Yeah.
Well, with these two, it's the short bus.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was
Damn.
gonna say I have been doing a lot more tubeing. We're gonna make a verb out of that.
Tubeing.
Because they got all the cartoons on there. They got all the old cartoons. They got Cow and
Oh, hell
Chicken
yeah.
on there. They got Dexter's Laboratory. Dude, they have there was like a King Arthur show. I'm blanking on the name now, but it was like these football players get like sent back in time and they become like King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. It was badass. It was like a 90s cartoon. Super cool. Fuck you, Harv, and everything about you and your stupid Dolly Parton shirt.
Oh, King
Fucking
Arthur, Excalibur.
Yeah. What about it?
Well, to touch base on your comment about the Tubi and the cartoons coming back and stuff, I did notice that my favorite cartoon and also partially my favorite movie is on there. And it's not horror, even though it should be. Eventually, it should be horror. The Mask, and they also had the Mask animated series put on there as well. And I'm like, and once in a while, I feel like doing deep dives on my channel talking about the Mask and the lore behind the Mask, because I read the comics from Dark Horse, and I, of course, think that in the future we need a horror movie version because that's the way nature intended it for.
Dude, the comics were violent. Dude, they were gory.
Oh yeah.
Most people don't know that about The Mask.
And
Yeah.
if people out there don't know, and I'm about to ruin your Jim Carrey wet dream. So basically, The Mask is about a mask, obviously Loki's mask, that is charmed for whoever wears it becomes a violent person. And you kind of get that with the Jim Carrey movie, and you thought with Chuck Russell being involved, oh, we just got Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, The Dream Warriors out of it. But, and then he was like, well, we need to make it more family friendly, and New Line also agreed with that. I'm like, really? New Line? You just made 3 Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and you want a family-friendly Mask movie? Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a bummer. Could have been great. Maybe we might get it someday. We'll see though.
Yeah, we'll see.
So, all right. Well, yeah, that's Nerdy Hillbilly for all the hundreds of thousands of people who listen to us every week. Yeah. So, I guess we'll start getting into our topics here. So, Harv, you want to go first with your topic?
Yeah, I've been looking into it a little bit and doing a little bit of a dive on some of it. And my topic this week, and I want to get your guys' take on it, is the real life stories that inspired some of the best horror films made. Looking into it, I mean, there's so many, that even ones that you wouldn't know or even think of. Open Water, 2017's Veronica, to name a couple. Zodiac. So I just want to kind of get your guys' take on what you guys think about it, and share your thoughts.
Okay. Well, for me, my favorite kinds of those are the ones that go like hyper realistic, where it's not loosely based on something, where it's like very specific. And I know that those can be considered more boring and less exciting in a way, but to me, it's just like, so like you mentioned Zodiac, and we're kind of playing with the word horror, talking about Zodiac there, but it horrifies. And so one of my favorite scenes in movies, like of all time, like across the board, is the scene where Zodiac attacks that couple that are by the lake. And what I've talked about it all the time, because what for me is the guy who survived that attack was still alive, and he helped David Fincher like recreate that scene, which means that what we're seeing right there is probably exactly how it looked, how it felt, everything about that moment. Like that's the closest visual like time travel that we can get to a horrific thing like that, because the guy who was there, like he's telling him like, this is exactly what happened. This is how it looked and sounded and felt. And what's crazy about that scene is that there's like no music cues. There's no violins, nothing. It's just the fucking sound of him stabbing that poor girl and her screams, and it's so raw. You know what I mean? And I think that's such a rarity with a lot of these, based on a true story type movies. And it just gives me the fucking the willies just thinking about that. Like, damn, dude, that's probably exactly what it looked like.
Mm-hmm. One of my favorites is Summer of Sam. It's kind of in the same genre as Zodiac, but to see how it kind of gives you a sense of how he had that whole city gripped in fear, because they didn't know when it was going to happen again, when he was going to, go out and kill, unalive someone again. It was so random and in different parts, and the way that it's not really a horror film, but I mean, it's horror adjacent, I guess you could say, but it's kind of in the same realm as Zodiac, where the fear that gripped the whole city during that time, and how the media kind of fueled that fear throughout, and it being real, like not just made up in a movie, but actually real. Like if you see real hand accounts of how people felt during that time period.
Yep. Scary shit. What do you guys think?
I was kind of just gonna say, like, as a whole, I think it kind of just adds another layer than just traditional, just regular horror, scary movie stuff. And, like, because for me personally, I'm not the hugest horror fan. I don't know if any of the viewers got that over the past couple months. I know.
No
But when it
shit,
has, like,
Sherlock.
yeah. Yeah. But, no, like, I don't know. I think just when it has that sturdy, I guess you call it backboard, where you can depend on that story a little bit more, and it's not so just all over the place or even just kind of generic. It adds a little something to it. I think it's worth the watch a little bit more when it does have those in it. So I'm not against them. I think it adds, if anything.
I, I think it adds to the fear of it a little bit more, of like being a little bit more, having that
Yeah.
anxiety, knowing that it was based, even if it's loosely based, it was still based on something that somebody actually did.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like Wolf Creek, like
Wolf Creek,
that's,
yeah.
that was supposedly somebody did that. They didn't believe the guy. They think he did it, but he's sticking to his story. At the end, it kind of says that they didn't really believe him and all that, but he's sticking to, and to
Mm-hmm.
know that there probably was somebody out in the Australian outback that was doing that to people. It kind of lives in the back of your head, like, you really there's stuff to be fearful in this world, and for them to portray it the way they do, I mean, yeah, they probably, you know expand it a little bit and embellish, but still, knowing that it's real, I think kind of fucks with your head a little bit more.
No.
Right. So with me, I prefer loosely based because I feel like, yes, true crime and real life stuff, it has its place, but when something is too real, like, where do we beat the threshold of it being exploiting a tragic real life event or not?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, like, with me, I like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre because it's loosely based off the Ed Gein story, the Plainsfield Butcher, and all that. And just recently, last year, we got that um, Ryan Murphy wet dream of Ed Gein's
Mm-hmm.
take on the story, and there was a lot of creative takes, but some of the stuff, there was like, I feel like it was like 20% accurate versus what it was. So like, and I know that Kane Hodder did a movie. I watched it maybe twice, and that thing was not good at all. And I love Kane, and that says a lot. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry that you got duped into playing that character,
Yeah.
but it did inspire a lot of movies, though. What Ed Gein did, it inspired Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, Silence of the Lambs, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, obviously, and yeah, just stuff like that. And I think the reason why it lands for me, especially Texas Chainsaw, is because it was during a time where horror movies were also not viewed as in a pretty light as they are today. So, like, if you were to make Texas Chainsaw Massacre today, it would just be another gore or another slasher psychological thriller movie, where back then it was taboo. It was, oh my god, I can't believe they actually filmed that part with the chick. And a lot of people will still fight, even the cast members will be fought on this take. There's people out there that are like, I actually saw the hook go in Pam's back, and I'm like, no, you didn't. There,
Yeah.
there is no take out there where Pam gets the meat hook in the back, for real, for real.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I have met not all of them, but about 90% of the cast and crew. So,
Mm-hmm.
and they've all said the same thing. They're like, yeah, you can't see it, and then there's also the whole like the video game was banned, the movie almost got banned and stuff, and it was just one of those things where I was like, oh, well, my favorite movie almost got Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah, it's completely like blacklisted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see like so like even though I prefer the more realistic approach, what I do like about the loosely based on aspect is that like I'm a fan of stories, right? I love stories, I love writing. And so when you think about like history and all of the monsters of history and everything, the like movies are just a modern representation of the campfire stories, like where these monsters were created at one point, like whatever it is, like Bigfoot or fucking whatever, like urban legend,
Right.
movies are how we do that now. And so like when you're a kid, you believe them. Like, I used to fuck with my sister when we were little and be like, Ghostface is going to get you if you don't fucking, do this or whatever. And she would be actually scared because it was real to her, because it was like this new myth that was created. Now is based on something like Ghostface, based on the Gainesville Ripper, right? And this horrible, fucked up things that were truly happening. But we created this new, like it's very magical in a way that we're still able to do this, and we found new ways to make myths, and that's really what these are. And I think that's awesome that we can still do that.
Yeah, I
Agree.
There was also based on loosely would be Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Nightmare on Elm Street. I think honestly, like you could probably say that just about any of them would like could be based on something, like specific. Like even
The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah,
The Hills Have Eyes was based off of a Scottish clan. Yeah.
I mean, you could even say that movies like Terrifier, movies like that were based off like the clown sightings in 2016, and now you see a clown, you're like, oh, well, something either funny or something horrific's about to happen, or both in my case.
Yeah. Yep.
I think that's all based off of what's his name, Gacy.
It is
a lot of the
but
clown
also
stuff.
I feel like it also is what, and I'm not sure if it did or not, but it could have also inspired Pennywise when Stephen King wrote it, like the killer clown concept, possibly around that as well.
Yeah, I mean that was I mean it wasn't the first time that we saw a villainous clown, right? Like we have like the Joker even, prior to like all
Joker.
of this shit. Joker, The Man Who Smiles is kind of clownish. There's been a lot of and that all comes from that like the colorophobia, like this idea of the uncanny valley where something looks almost human, and we have a natural kind of fear of that, which is just bizarre as fuck. But like why people don't like dolls and shit, it's all like the uncanny valley kind of stuff. But yeah, like I mean, when you really think about it, with it, like we didn't have a visual representation of Pennywise until 1990 or 91, whatever you want to call it. But the book came out in like I think the early 80s. So before that though, it was Gacy. You didn't have Killer Clowns from Outer Space. You didn't have fucking any of those clown things, and so like yeah, it all does kind of come back to something that is
to inspiration.
Yeah, some kind of real life thing, which is fascinating. So yeah, good shit, good topic, Harv. Way to use your brain.
That's all I do is I come up with hot shit. That's me.
Do it more often. Yeah. Disc, what do you got for us this week?
So I thought of this topic last week, and I thought of it because, well, I guess I should say what the topic is. The topic is pretty much like, why haven't the horror genre really evolved since jump scares? Like, why don't they go past jump scares or came up with anything else to type? Because I feel like there's not a lot of ways to scare people, and like the generic answer for that is just throw in a couple jump scares. And I feel like we see so many of them, and a lot of them aren't even like an actual jump scare of like a face or like the character you're watching. It's always just like, oh, I'm gonna open the door and then boom, flip around and then it's nothing. Or like, oh, I'm gonna make a loud noise as like, changing the camera. And it's just like it's all false alarms. And the reason I thought about it was because last week, I think it was, or the week before, I watched Obsession, and I was watching that movie, and the style of the movie, it was very creative with the way it was kind of shot, and it was a very mellow, tame horror film, and there was not a jump scare until like 3/4 of the way through. So at that point, I didn't expect it at all, and it got me. But that's what I'm saying is like when you get that one, and it's closer towards the end, that feels like when probably jump scares like traditionally started. Like
Mhm.
not like boom, 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 boom. It's like it's good when they don't you don't have to feel like it's expected. I guess is what I'm trying to say. And
Right.
that was not expected at all because it was just a one big jump scare like towards the end, and I had no idea it was coming. So that's why I kind of wanted to bring it up. Like, what do you guys think about the whole jump scare thing with horror?
So with jump scares, I feel like they can be it can be used as a tool, but it can also be used as a crutch. And I've
Mm-hmm.
seen movies where it's jump scare after jump scare and after jump scare. And if that's your cup of tea, if you like jump scares, good on you. But at the same time, like if you're just basically waiting for the next scare and it's constantly happening, where do you get the horrific buildup? Where's the story? And that's why, okay, so you said Obsession. I'm gonna up the ante a little bit with Passenger, where that had more jump scares in it. And there was story to it, but the jump scares appeared more than they did in Obsession. And, you know, basically, okay, the couple stops and then the entity attaches to their vehicle because they stopped at night. And in my mind, I'm like, why is anyone stopping for anyone in the middle of the night on Route 66? One of the oldest drags ever in history. And I'm thinking there's got to be some haunts on that road. Like I've heard stories about jump scares happening here and there throughout that route, and it messed with me a little bit because and here's the thing, you got to have built up to it, but you can't make it the main focus. Like your jump scares are just there to excite the audience after they just been teased a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
think of it like this. You're being edged in Obsession. You're getting
Mm-hmm.
edged after a bit. Ooh, 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 and then come
Mhm.
all over all over the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even just me. Like, I remember the theater experience. Like, everybody got that experience the same way I did. Because
Mhm.
everyone was like, oh shit. Like, I was not expecting it.
Oh,
Because yeah.
I was edged so much I went in for seconds. I saw Obsession twice in theaters. So yeah.
You know the
Nice.
jump scare, right? The car
Oh
scene.
yeah.
Yeah, it gets you.
It
Yeah.
does. And I am satisfied with that. So
Yeah. And it's just one. That's fine. It's a lot. I feel like any other movie, a lot of times it's just overdone.
Well, I was gonna say one of the things you brought up when you were talking about the fake outs. I don't know
Yeah.
if you remember this too much, but in the first of the so it'd be Scream 5, I think, is the one
yeah.
that did it. Do you remember the scene where the teen boy, I think it was like the deputy's son or whatever, he goes into the kitchen and he opens the fridge and then the music swells and he closes the fridge and like he opens like five things throughout this whole scene, and he's just like, the camera's like POV behind him the entire time, and every time he opens it the music swells, and then it just never fucking happens. And then like after, like I said, like a few minutes, it finally, like, you finally get it. And I think that was like I hated that movie. I hate all three of those pieces of shit for the most part. But there are things throughout them that I like. That I really did like, because that reminded me of old school Scream, playing with, like
the jump
kind
scares,
of parodying the horror genre. Like that was what Scream was originally.
Yeah,
and to
the
see
first
them,
Scream,
kind of like go back to their roots in a way, with playing with that anticipation and the music swells and all that kind of shit. But yeah, I mean, for me, like, as far as jump scares, I mean, I think you guys all pretty much nailed it. Like everything you guys were talking about, really. Like, you don't want to overuse them, but you don't want to underuse them either, because then you get stuff like, I know a lot of people are fans of these, and I like some of them, but some of the A24 movies, like Midsummer, where it's like, give me something, bro. Fuck, give me something. Just, I need literally anything, and they just fucking don't. It's just slow and dragging, and
Midsommar didn't do anything for me, not even a tickle.
Yeah, it's just like, I need, like, just give me one thing, and they do in their own way, but it's just not. It didn't do it for me.
Why you say that now? I thought you gave that 5 stars. You were gooning all over that fucking
Why
movie.
do you do these things, Harv? Do you just like fucking? People are gonna have the worst representation of me. They're gonna think that I love A24 movies and that I don't like horror movies at the same time.
You're gonna make Google mess us up.
Yeah, you're gonna get my AI summary wrong, bitch.
Janky loves Midsummer.
Right? It's his favorite. It's his number one on his top 4. But yeah. So okay, well, with that, then that kind of ties into to my topic that I wanted to ask. What, if anything, like, what does it for you in a horror movie? What, like, scares the shit out of you? And even if it doesn't now, what it used to be, like when you were a kid or whatever. And like, what is it that gets under your skin and makes a horror movie not entertaining but legitimately scary?
For me, it's the music, and the buildup of suspense. Going back to what Dis was saying with jump scares, like those little, where it starts building up and the music gets louder and gets real suspenseful, and then nothing. So then it kind of like that keeps you engaged. So that's definitely like a big part for me, is the sound, is the score of it, is just hearing the music, hearing the pitches of when you're supposed to start getting scared, or something's about to happen. It gets real loud, real creepy, and then finally, if there is a jump scare, like boom, that's where it happens. And there'll be a few moments of that where it builds up, and you're building up that suspense and building it up and building it up, so you're just full of it, and anxiety and suspense and just everything. And then finally a jump scare, since we're talking about both of your guys' shit. And then it just releases, boom, and it's like, oh shit. And then you get that rush of adrenaline right after, so it's like, wow. And then so you're ready for the next one. So I think the music definitely has a lot to do with it for me.
About you, Nerdy?
Okay, so I'm gonna go in the opposite direction of sound. Mostly for me, it's atmosphere and looks. Like when I was younger, you would have like uh, relatable places. Like, okay, so Scream didn't really scare me that much as a kid, but with the idea that, oh, I could be chased through a school or through a house that's empty at night. It builds up that anxiety kind of deal. Like, it's the atmosphere more than anything. And when it comes to looks, I'm not gonna lie. When I was younger, my first horror movie was Child's Play, and uh, dolls used to freak me the fuck out. And now I have like three. I have three Chuckies in my house. One signed by Brad Dourif, and the other one signed by Christina Leese and Alex Vincent. And I also have an Annabelle in the house, so
Mm-hmm. Face your fears.
face my fears, and now I made that my bitch.
That's right. What about you, Disc? What gives you the spookies?
The
So
heebie-jeebies.
it's gonna sound like I'm very easy to scare, so bear with me, guys.
Okay.
Alright. So, with that being said, like, it's that when basically, like, when the screen goes black, or say you're looking and you see an object from a distance, you turn back around, like, you turn and then you go back and look, and then they're like immediately a little bit closer. And then it does it again, and then they're closer. Yeah, like with
Lights out. It's
yeah,
lights
pretty
out.
much what lights out is like just that weird, and also too like when something you know is gonna happen, and then it just holds like a black screen for a while.
Mm,
Because then you're like, fuck, I don't like. Do I stay looking or do I turn around?
yeah. You
What?
see it? You see it?
What, the black?
He just
I've gotten
pooed.
scared multiple times when Mama Disc comes walking through the door and it's dim in his room. That scares the living shit out of me. I'm like,
It's
what
like
the
some
hell's going on?
Well,
wobbling
that's
zombie
another
like
thing.
creeping in the night, just fucking.
That's another thing. Like when you have that semi vision of being able to see like an object on him, like from a movie, but it's like
Mhm.
not the clearest, and you have to like make picture of the person's face. That's when I'm like, okay, like I just stop looking at that point.
Okay, so the transition is what gets to you. So like when
Yeah.
something's oblivious to you, and they they go into 4K, and you're like, oh my god, holy shit, get out of my face.
Yeah.
It's kind of like okay, for example, 2017's It, when Eddie drops his pill on the ground and the crooked faced lady, or whoever, or not the crooked faced lady because that was
The
Stan,
leper.
the leper. The leper picks up the pill and then he's like,
Yeah.
and that was like something oblivious at one moment because, oh, someone's here to help him pick up his pills. And he looks up and then you're like, oh my God, what the
Hmm.
hell is that thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because I'm the one that just bashed on jump scares.
Yeah.
But it's like it's like a jump scare, but in its own different,
You hate
unique
to
way.
love them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Pretty
mine,
much.
my spooky thing that gets me to this day is it's like the unsuspecting or like looming presence mixed also with like something smiling at you. Like, and I'm not talking about the movie Smile or any of that kind of shit.
Oh,
I'm talking about like Salem's Lot, the like little kid outside the window, like, let me in. And he's like smiling. Yeah, like fuck that shit. Because if something's smiling at you, then it knows something that you don't. And fuck that. I don't like that. I like knowing everything about whatever shitty situation I'm in. And if you're grinning at me, I have a disadvantage that I'm not even aware of yet. And so like, but any kind of like, it just, the smile of a villain signifies like your absolute fucking loss in that moment. And there's like a couple of examples that would sound stupid, but they're just my thing. But like even in John Carpenter's vampires, like the vampire Valak, like there's multiple times where you see him smiling, like this really just like cocky smile, and every time that he's doing it, like they're basically fucked, you know. So like if I put myself in that situation, like yeah, like a guy in a mask chasing me would be super scary, but if I was walking down a dark road and I saw a guy 20 feet ahead of me and he was just looking at me smiling, like fuck that, dude. Like that's way scarier to me than if he was chasing me. So
so
So,
I'm guessing Reverend Kane is not for you.
Reverend Kane,
Children of the Corn too.
dude, I
He
haven't
was.
seen Children of the Corn 2, maybe even ever, actually. Let me look him up.
Oh,
Let me
dude.
look him up.
so,
Let's
Yeah.
see. Is he fucking creepy?
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
so I take it you're underneath the covers for the movie Smile.
Dude, I thought it was lame. I thought it was lame. I wanted to like it because I was like, dude, this fits perfectly, but I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. Kane, children.
Yeah, or just put in Children of the Corn, Reverend Kane.
Okay, let's. Yeah, fuck that, dude. No, hell no. Yeah, I know who this. Wait. Okay, yeah, the guy with the.
The smile that comes to your door and
Oh wait, is this Poltergeist?
Poltergeist shit.
Okay, yeah, because I was gonna say I know who this is. That's why I was like, fuck that. I
Oh,
know
yeah,
that smile.
I get that mixed up because of the hats and
Yeah,
stuff.
like the Quaker hat. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
no,
I'm sorry, you go.
no, go ahead, Disc.
I was just gonna say was another example that would fit. I know it's not really smiling, but I feel like you bring it up every now and then. But the scene with in Killer Clowns when he's waving,
Dude, the fucking Big Top scene. Dude, Big Top when he's like out and the little girl's inside the burger place
the
and
restaurant, yeah.
he's like waving her outside, dude. Hell no. Well, fuck that. Dude, that's so creepy to me, man.
What
Like
about the Jumbo the One Finger?
was it Jumbo? I don't remember. Whoever was
Yeah,
doing that, like
It's
Jumbo.
Jumbo,
like,
the one finger. Yeah.
okay, yeah. Whoever
Yeah.
was bringing the girl outside, yeah, dude. Like,
Yeah, that was Jumbo, I believe.
yeah, it's just something about it that's it's just that feeling. Like I said, it really comes down to just like not having like all the cards and you're at a disadvantage. Basically, that's what it is.
No.
So, yeah. So with that being said, actually, we're kind of getting almost like perfect timing. So this is great. So we're actually going to go into a movie recommendation from all of us, and since we're doing a horror themed episode for the most part, we'll each give a horror movie recommendation. So we'll start up with you, Harv. What you got?
I'm gonna go with one we kind of touched on earlier is Wolf Creek.
Okay.
It's a really disturbing movie, based in Australia, and also based on a true story. Very, very sick ways. It's kind of gives that Hostel type element, maybe a little bit of the remake of Hills Have Eyes. It's a little bit sickening. A little not too gory, which because I'm not a real big fan of gore, but it definitely is creepy and will have you thinking like, wow, somebody actually did this. So Wolf Creek's my pick.
Yeah. Okay. Solid. What you got, Disc?
I'm gonna go with an A24 movie actually,
Of course you
and
are.
that is. I feel like no one really talks about this one a lot, and I really love it. It's A Different Man. Have you guys heard of that one? Anyway,
No.
A Different Man is pretty much this guy who has like this deformed face, and he finds out he could get the surgery to have this perfect face. And everything seems all fine and dandy, like a lot of good things will come out of it. But then it unveils, and then there's another person that comes into the picture and kind of stirs the pot, and people find this other person funny because he resembles, I guess, similar traits he had before. I don't want to go into it too heavily into like the concept because it's a very simple story, and I don't want to say too much. But I think with it being a simple story and being an A24, I think it's just a really good film. And also, too, fun fact: A Different Person, I'm pretty sure, is filmed with actual film, and it's not digital
Okay.
like recorded. So that's pretty cool about it. So yeah, Different Man.
Nice. Good shit. About you, Nerdy?
So I'm gonna go with something that we didn't talk about. Back to clowns. And I know that some of you probably have watched this one already, but Circus of the Dead. Um, I feel like pushes the envelope a little bit further than Art the Clown does, because Art the Clown, yeah, he's all about effect and jump scary and stuff like that, and gore, where Papa Corn, he goes harder and literally. Uh and the violence behind it is just unmatched. And Billy Pawn, the director, he's just such an amazing dude. He made that movie, and now and eventually it's going to get the sequel here pretty soon. Um, yeah, and I think that Circus of the Dead hits it a little different than other clown movies do.
Okay. Yeah, I've never even heard of Circus of the Dead. I'll have to look into that. I like a good clown movie. Yeah.
Well, Janky doesn't like horror movies, so he probably doesn't.
Fuck off. I'm about to recommend the biggest fucking... All right, my recommendation is one of the greatest horror movies ever made. It's actually more of a love story when you really think about it. Yeah, it's truly a love story, and I think Nerdy knows what it is. This is a masterpiece. It came out in 2015, and in honor of our special guest tonight, my recommendation to all of you beautiful people out there is going to be a movie called Gwilliam. It is a short film. It was introduced to all of us one night. We all watched Gwilliam. Well, us three from the Four Reels. Was recommended to us by Chrissy, who had it recommended to us, I believe, by Nerdy HillBilly here and his jolly group of friends. If you want something that just kind of warms your heart, something to watch with grandma, Gwilliam is going to be your go-to.
Fuck.
I can't recommend it enough. So
it's about love. It truly is a masterpiece, and it's something you could watch with your grandma, maybe your aunt, uncle, even your reverend at your church.
Yeah. It's
wow.
I would call it's faith-based. It's faith-based love story.
Oh boy.
It'll make you come in for more.
Yeah. Literally.
Sure will. So with that being said, Nerdy, where can people find you?
You can find me on YouTube, Nerdy HillBilly. You can find me on TikTok, Nerdy HillBilly. You can find me on Facebook, the Nerdy HillBilly Nation Facebook page. And there is also, I am on X, but not as often as I'd like to be. But, you can find me almost anywhere. Just put Nerdy HillBilly in. I've kind of made a name for myself, kind of like you have, Janky, where AI Overview has knows who I am now. And also, you can find me on IMDb with my 40 plus titles that I have been in or have helped with.
Nice. Good shit. Well, this was fun, and we will catch you guys next week. And as always, I'm Janky J, and tonight we had...
This pick.
And Mr. plays with his microphone.
Yeah.
Of the world famous
with something else.
You already know it. It's on everybody's lips. World famous Harv's Movie Hut.
Okay.